Well, hello and welcome to the Shallow Proclamation. My name is Paul, and as always, I'm joined by
Thomas.
And we're diving into the last story now of season 8. It seems to have gone by relatively quickly, actually, doesn't it? We're diving into... now, I'm not entirely sure how to say this, Thomas, whether it is the demons or the Dæmons.
Matt Damon.
Matt Dæmons. I mean, we found our level for this episode clearly already. So we're getting into this final story. We are fast approaching the end of the season then, with only 5 more episodes to go. So do put questions. We'll do a live review as we always do. So do if you've got. I'm just talking absolute nonsense here, Thomas. I'm just gibbering away. Can't even get a sentence out. We will, of course, do a season 8 live review. So if you have questions for that you would like to give us in advance, please put them in the comments down below. Let us know it is a question for the review, or put it in our Discord server. There's a link for that in the description, and there'll be a thread in there that you can chuck those in as well. So coming up to the finale here, the Dæmons. So this was broadcast originally from the 22nd of May to the 19th of June 1971. The writer is Guy Leopold, although that is actually a pen name for Robert Sloman and Barry Letts together. Okay. And it was directed by Christopher Barry. As it stands at the moment, this is actually the last ever 5-part Doctor Who story. So prior to this, we'd had the Dominators and the Mind Robber.
Yes.
And that was it, I think. There were only 5-parters, both in season 6. And this is the only 5-parter after that. We've not got any more to come unless they start bringing out 5-parters in the new era. Wow. But I doubt that will be the case. And this story was chosen by fans to represent the Jon Pertwee era, to be rebroadcast for Doctor Who at 40, so the 40th anniversary. And this was one of the ones actually from the early 90s that was repeated there on BBC. So I had this kind of recorded off the telly. For me, this is probably one of the earliest Pertwees I saw. They showed 2 or 3 Pertwees, and I'm not really 100% which one came first, and the order of them, but this is definitely there. So for me, this is one of the very sort of first stories I would have seen of Doctor Who, and definitely one of the first Pertwees I saw. So
very cool.
It's got a good thing, a lot of sentimental, nostalgic value for me as well.
A trip down memory lane.
Yeah, and I think it's going to be a nice one as well. I think there's. I haven't watched it in a long time, in fairness, all the way through, but it's definitely got a lot of nice. There's a lot to like about it, I think. So I don't want to give too much away though. So without further ado, shall we dive on in and see where we land?
Wunderbar. Let's do it. Oh, this is nice.
Yeah,
proper gothic horror intro.
Absolutely.
Gargoyles.
Look at that water spewing out.
Some
Frogs.
kind of animal.
Cats.
Oh, Paul, this is glorious. This is already so much better than the previous story.
Look at that, a hoofed.
Oh, no,
cloven hoof.
Oh, this is gorgeous. This is my jam. Oh, look at the sign. It was at a proper angle there. Yes.
I mean, the atmosphere already is phenomenal.
Yeah. Is that Matt Damon? Oh, an owl. The stock footage is being integrated really nicely. I assume it's stock footage.
Oh, presumably, yeah.
An owl on set.
Oh, it wasn't stock footage, some of that stuff, because it says the opening scene was partially realised through the help of assistant floor manager Sue Hedden, who poured water down a drain which was part of the gargoyle. It was also her personal black cat, which played the part of the unknown creature that's scuttling in the churchyard.
Oh, cool.
So they obviously filmed that.
Oh, that's pretty cool. Self-driving. Look at that. The Doctor invented Alexa. Oh, that's cool. It's got the BBC in the episode.
Yeah.
Very meta.
For BBC 3. See, this is, like you say, this is already 100 times more engaging than all of Colony in Space.
Yeah.
This sort of village pub thing is a little bit like 73 yards, isn't it?
It is.
And in that episode, that was part of the story I really liked. That kind of setting works really well.
Yeah. Yeah.
This pub's a little bit busier, but
The kind of folklore. What's he doing?
I think he was under the possession of something.
Oh yeah, he was about to take.
He was about to clock her, wasn't he?
Take her out. Yeah.
Take her head in with a big rock.
I love how she didn't bat an eyelid that he was carrying a rock.
Yeah, it's like she just didn't notice at all.
Good evening, Miss Hawthorne.
Yes.
There we go. So we've got a full house now, master in every story.
Every story. So you kept that very quiet when I said. It was in the second story I said, wasn't it? I was like, oh, they brought the master back already. And then the third one, I was like, hang on a second, are they going to bring him into every story?
Everything.
And you were like, my lips are sealed. The music from the Pertwee era sounds a bit like it's from Mario Kart.
It's definitely very distinctive.
And I don't mean that as a bad thing. It's like those synths sound quite similar.
Well, Curtin, you've done very well.
Girton?
Well, I thought I should tell you.
Yeah.
That's the name of the village I grew up in.
Is it really?
Spelt that way as well.
Quiet!
This guy's hilarious.
It's quite funny, this script.
Welcome back.
It's like us getting ready for the beginning of an episode.
Yes. Oh, look at that. Oh, the master looks properly evil there.
That's a great shot.
Nice. Ah, we're back on track, Paul.
Absolutely.
I mean, Colony in Space wasn't a bad story. It just left me cold, and I wasn't especially engaged by it. I was just like, it just happened. Whereas this, I'm like, I want to find out what's going to happen.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's like night and day, isn't it, to be honest, that and the previous story. The atmosphere, just the brilliant atmospheric opening there with, outside the pub with the thunder and the lightning and the gargoyles and the water shooting out of it and the cat and the frog and the owl and all that stuff. Looks brilliant. I think also, like, the script, it is quite funny, isn't it? There's lots of funny lines, like that Professor Horner. He's just got lots of lines which are amusing because he clearly has got no time for the TV show. And I'll try and be super, absolutely super and all that. And just having the reporter kind of talking to camera works really well, or the presenter of the TV show, I should say. That's a good little conceit.
Banter.
Yeah, it's a good thing. It works really well to do that. And of course, there's also other funny parts in it as well, with sort of, saying to the doc in the pub, the guy says also, about him being sort of chap, and he's like, I'm no sort of chap, and he's like, I just thought, what with the costume and the wig. And he's like, wig. So there's just a lot of really likable kind of characters and banter about the story, and then of course the master as a vicar is a wonderful thing as well. A rationalist, as she says, a rationalist existentialist vicar.
Yes. Yes.
And that shot of him then at the end with his arms out, Azal, Azal. It's just great. It's classic stuff, really. You can probably see already why someone would say, if we're going to choose a story to have for the 40th anniversary, you can already see just in this first episode elements that would make you go, this is going to be a strong contender for a good story.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, the master in this very much a wolf in sheep's clothing sort of figure.
Yeah,
isn't he?
yeah.
And the contrast of him standing outside the church and quite believable as a vicar. Actually, I think I've met vicars in the Church of England who look and talk a bit like that. But
Yeah.
then the contrast of him over that cauldron going, and yeah, man, that was.
What would you pick if you could pick something that you think that was your favourite part? What would you pick?
Yeah, I think I did like the ticking bomb in the story of this dig. That was a nice MacGuffin. Is that the term? Like an object that you introduce that's going to be significant. But yeah, so that you knew the dig was going to keep happening and it was going to go too far and unleash something. A bit like Inferno. It's a kind of classic idea, isn't it? And then seeing that kind of stone with the glowing eyes at the end and the doctor, what happened to the doctor there, but Joe seemed genuinely worried. I thought that the build up to that cliffhanger, like it wasn't a cliffhanger that came out of nowhere, it was like built up throughout the episode, which was quite nice.
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
I agree. It's very good. I think for me, just the general atmosphere of sort of the village location with the locals and the pub and the weather and all that. You said it straight away, that this kind of gothic feel immediately just is right up my street.
Yeah.
And I was just reading, apparently on the pub, it was like the cloven hooved sign there. Like I think they made that up for the story, but apparently they gave it to the pub, but they presented it to the pub owner afterwards, and he kept it.
No way.
I think he kept it on display, but when the ownership of the pub changed, he then sold it to some fans. We'll see a lot more of the village, but the village now is actually I don't know if they still do, but they've had quite a lot of Doctor Who conventions there over the years. And like they've had members of the cast kind of come and do it. So I think they still get quite a lot of business out of this story as a village. As we'll see more of the village in the rest of the story. It's a beautiful location. It'd be a good place to visit. Definitely go to the pub.
Yes. Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Yeah. Well, let us know what you thought of that one down in the comments. If you've not subscribed to the channel, but you're watching this stuff again and again, why not just subscribe anyway? Give the video a like. It helps it get seen and pass it on to other people who might be interested in this kind of thing. And join us soon for episode 2 of this story. But until then, bye-bye.
Goodbye.